you, what your home is going to sell for in today's market. She's going to show you pretty close to how long that period of time is going to take. And she's also going to show you all the costs involved in selling. Is there anything else you would like Teresa to be prepared to answer when she arrives? No, I think that covers it. Great. Oh, do you plan on putting your home on the market Tuesday? Yes, we do. Great. I go, Teresa, I just confirmed your appointment, and they said yes. Fill that freaking contract out before you go. Sign them up. One of the answers to that confirmation is, why do you ask? Because Teresa's very busy, and I prepare all of her documents for her. I'll tell you what, I'll just go ahead and prepare the employment agreement ahead of time, just in case you decide you do want to put your home on the market at that time. See, how professional does that sound? Extremely professional. So when you show up at the door, you're a realtor. All I know about Dina is she's a realtor. What do you think the world's average perception of a realtor is? Think it's good?
Nope.
It's like attorneys. Scum suckers. Right? That's what they are. Bottom feeders. People who make way too much money for what they do. So if Dina had an appointment and Teresa confirmed it for her with the dialogue I just gave you, now do they have an opinion of Dina?
Yeah.
They do. They have an opinion she's a very professional business person. So that's the basic expired dialogue. I wouldn't use it. I just thought I'd show it to you. Now, the cards on the table dialogue. That's the one I like. I learned some dialogues from a guy named Andrew Lacey. You see, I always wanted to sell a lot of houses. So you know what I did? It's kind of funny. Every week, I called this guy in Texas, and we role-played back and forth for an hour. I'd be the expired, he'd be the realtor, he'd be the expired, I'd be the realtor. We just did it back and forth, the back and forth, the back and forth. And he was in Texas. Therefore, I developed a little bit of a Texas drawl in my dialogues, which seemed to work just fine. I liked it. So then it came up with this dialogue here. I call it cards on the table. You know what it's like. You know what the terminology is. Put your cards on the table. In other words, don't be BSing me. Put the cards on the table. So, hi, I'm Dan with Century 21. Right? Remember? 3 to 6 seconds. Got a second? Ma'am or sir, I want to be as polite as I can be. Obviously, I'm calling you about your home here on Primrose Lane. And obviously, again, ma'am, I do know that home went off the market yesterday. Is that true? See, intro, question. Right? There's a question now. Is that true? Yes, it is. What happened? Right? So we just want to know, what happened? Did you just decide not to? What happened? 3 to 6 seconds, 1 second intervention window. What happened? If they don't respond, did you just decide not to move? Were the offers you get? Did you get offers, but they were too low? You think the realtor did the job? I mean, what do you think happened? Right? So this dialogue here, you're going to find is very, very, very well received. Very low rejection. Very low. Because you're being way too polite. You're being so polite, they couldn't pick on you if they wanted to. And then, of course, what are we going to say? You know what? As it turns out, I'm going to be 2 blocks from you today at 10. I'll tell you what I'll do. I just stop on by, explain to you what happened. Right? Did I set an appointment? I set an appointment. So, to the point. Hi, I'm Dan with Century 21. I noticed that your home expired from the market yesterday. I'm just really shooting it out of them. I was wondering, this is another Andrew Lacey dialogue, I was wondering, were you planning on getting that home sold, or were you just planning on listing again with another agent? Now, here's the rationale behind that dialogue. Does anybody here ever learn anything about body language? You know, I mean, they're standing body language, hands go in the pockets, you know. And I mean, you know you're losing me, right? Your car salespeople get a lot of, you know, the crossing of the arms, the crossing of the leg.
Or they scratch your head when they're lying.
The crossing of the legs, you know. What they're doing, they're closing you out. Well, you know, if I'm sitting across the table from Dina and we're having a listing presentation and I see her closed up, I can open her up now. I could do it because we're looking across, and I will start mimicking her. And I will start moving my hands more to get her to. So I can open her up. And obviously, I'm very sure that she closed up. I saw her do it. But on the phone, I can't tell. Right? So on the phone, I have no idea. You could be sitting there like this. You know? And so what Andrew used to say, I probably ought to get a hold of Andrew and say, you know, you made me a ton of money, my friend. But this dialogue, he'd say, the way I can tell is if I can make them laugh. Because if I can make them laugh, I close. The first chuckle I hear, you know what, ma'am, as it turns out, I'm going to be about 2 blocks from you today at 10. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to stop on by and explain to you what happened. And that was what Andrew would say. And so that's why he said that. And sometimes he'd say, you know, was you folks still planning on getting that home sold, or was you just planning on listing again with another agent who couldn't get her done? Yeah, and he'd play around with that because he was trying to get them to laugh. So, expired dialogues. You know, figure one that works good for you and do it. How much time can you put into calling expired today? How much time does it require to call 100% of the new expireds that come up every day with a phone number? On the outside, right? 10 minutes. That is still a very, very viable lead. If I wrote NA, which meant no answer, if I wrote NA, I got more excited than I did if I got them. Because if I got them, I knew 3 other people were going to get them. If I didn't get them, I knew very high probability I was going to be the only one that was going to get them. Because I called them every 2 hours all day long until I reached them. I had a big notebook, big 3-ring binder. Punch it, put it in a 3-ring binder. I drove out to expires, stop and look at other expires, dropped off packages, knocked on doors, did all these kind of things. Every time I went back to the car, I took out the cell phone, which was about this big. Had a little antenna, $6 a minute as I recall. and I would call the expires. So I knew the probability of a no answer was just right in my court. I knew the probability that I was going to get to them first was very high, because most realtors go, well, called expires today. You know what? I've called expires now every day for 3 days. That stuff doesn't work. It doesn't work. Are you kidding me? It doesn't work. And then I see that property go on the market. Huh, same one went on the market with the same agent that got the last one from me. No, they didn't get it from you because you didn't go after it. Right? How much time can I spend calling expires? All kidding aside, I'm not bragging. I'm not a real sharp guy. I'm not real smart. You know, school, are you kidding me? They sent me to military academy, and it wasn't because I was a well-behaved, smart kid. You know, it's because I was a problem child. So, you know, I walk into this environment, and I realize that intelligence is not an advantage. Tenacity is the advantage. And I go, I'm tenacious. I can do that. I learned that fear of poverty, like we talked about last week. I learned that fear of poverty, that's what makes the money. You know, I mean, I got a granddaughter. I love her to pieces, right? She graduated Oregon State. I don't think she's ever got a B in her entire life. All A's. She's making $15,000 a year. I said, honey, call some expired listings. You know, my son one time, just to go off subject, my son one time, he said, he was getting out of the real estate business. You know, his first year in the real estate business, he only made 100 grand. He was disappointed. So, but he saw the lenders drive Mercedes Benz. So he wanted to become a lender. And a lot less work. Lenders, at least from the outside. He decided he was going to be a lender, so he went to work for a company. And I said, whoa, why are you going to do that, son? And he said, you know what, Dad? He said, you probably wouldn't understand this. You can imagine being my son wasn't very fun. Kind of difficult because I was a little kind of focused in the business world. And he said, you wouldn't understand this, Dad, but I need to spend more time with your granddaughter. Slam, huh? So I said, bullshit. I'm on a mic. He might have mean that. but that is what I say, so I might as well say it. And I said, if you truly want to spend more time, what are you going to make, 30, 40 grand as a lender? But I need to spend more time with your granddaughter. I say, do real estate right, earn your 40 grand in January, and go sit next to her in school every day if you want. But don't use that excuse, right? Isn't it amazing when we put that into perspective? I could do that. Mike Ferry said, do you want to learn how to make $30,000 a year in the real estate business? Yes, I will help you. But I will only work with you 1 month. Do it in January and take the rest of the time off. So if we really, really work, if we really do, if we learn to enjoy it, remember what we talked about last week? Say, how can I call expireds to become extremely effective in expireds and enjoy it? Right? Well, I look at it, I haven't called an expired in years because I can't compete against agents. I can compete against agents outside, beyond these walls, but I can't compete against agents within this wall. So I can't do it. But you probably tell by looking at my face, as I'm remembering these days, it was fun to me. It was real fun. So, old expired dialogue. Because how long did we say it was going to take? 5 to 10 minutes, right, to call fresh ones? Yeah. Well, and every day your NA pile gets thicker, right? Every day the NA pile keeps getting thicker, thicker, thicker. So, as we're doing this, we go back and we pull old expired way back. And so now we do this. We go out that morning. We go to the doors of the expireds within our 10-mile radius. We knock on the door. You know, we were all doing so much the same thing, the three of us expired hunters. And I go up there, I throw my pack on the door, right, in an envelope. And mine was, I had a call stamp made that said calls, all caps, C-A-L-L-S. And I would stamp that envelope all over it. It just said calls, 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 calls. And then inside I had a letter that says, you're going to receive a lot of calls today. I decided to stop by, and thinking that was going to make a difference. And then I'd go by a little bit later, my pack was gone, and somebody else's pack was there. I think what happened is I actually, because I always had packages in my car, F on the corner for FSBO, E for expired. So, you know, whatever I went to, I had a package already done, sealed in envelopes, ready. I had stacks of them like that. But remember, I was real serious. This is what I did for a living. And so I realized, aha, they're stealing my packs. I thought I was the only one taking theirs. So, because everybody looks at their competition's material. So then somebody told me, put them in a FedEx envelope. You get the FedEx envelopes for free. I started putting them in FedEx envelopes. It looked like it was mail. People wondered, that's like tampering with the mail or something. So my packs started getting through. But it's amazing. You would go out, you put your packs out, you come back, another round of calls. Is there a chance during that period of time you called that they were getting ready for work? You bet. So we knew that we were going to have to call every 2 hours. If you didn't stop in the middle of a listing appointment and say, I got to call some expireds. But you were tried to stay as true to that schedule as you possibly could because you knew this was going to take you to make a lot of money. So you can do that today. And then go back to the office, call all your old expireds. So old expired dialogues, one of the first things we have to understand or we have to determine is that home on the market today? Because there's an ethical conflict. If the house is on the market today, I cannot talk to them. Okay? I can if they provoke me, but I cannot pursue another agent's listing. We used to always put a disclaimer on our postcard that says, this is not an intent, whatever. We put it in such small print. We go, hey, printer, how small print can you go? As if that really made a difference. So basically, the first thing we go, hi, I'm Dan with Sector 21. Is your home still available for sale? Right? And if they say yes, then we go, oh, then you've relisted. Tonality. Oh, then you've relisted. And if they say yes, I wish you the best. Hang up. Get into the MLS and verify. Verify that it is. And if it is not, get right back on. If they say no, oh, it didn't sell? Oh, did it sell? And so we go into the same type of dialogue. We're trying to pull them out. I believe your home was on the market for around 330. Or would you still consider offers in that area? Or are you telling me that you wouldn't? Blah 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 blah. Guess what? I'm home by 2 blocks from them today at 10. So I'll just swing by and explain to them what happened. That's basically expired in a nutshell. But why is it that it's so fun for such a small group of people and so terrifying for the masses? Well, that's just the way life is. That's exactly the way life is. Every aspect of life is that way. When you realize that, you ever see a realtor go, hey, top 1%. Top 1%? Are you kidding me? You can be in the top 1% of real estate making $25,000 a year. Come on, get out of here. Top 1% crap. It's much smaller percentage than that. A very, very, very small percentage of realtors make a lot of money. And even consider a real job. Why is that? It's because it never was designed to be a career. Real estate was never designed to be a career. Real estate was a job that was handled by trophy wives, for lack of a better terminology, that were a little bored, doing out and sold some real estate. They always drove Mercedes-Benz. They dominated the market. They just absolutely dominated the market. They all looked exactly the same. They looked like those girls on Dallas. Remember that show, Dallas? They all look exactly the same. And so that's the way it was. Well, what happened was aerospace took a real dive. California predominantly lost aerospace. The entire nation slowed way down on aerospace. And aerospace was a great big employer, from not just from the major companies, but all the little companies that supported and supplied them. It was huge. So when Aerojet, or Aerospace, in my case it happened to be a company called Aerojet, but when Aerospace decided to go away, or scale wave down, you had all these professional, extremely patterned people. See, aerospace is like military. We are all very policy driven. You did your job or you got terminated. No doubt about it. When you are in management in aerospace, if your department was not performing, you got terminated. End of conversation. No matter what your level was in aerospace, if you did not adhere to the attendance guidelines, you were terminated. We used to always say, we never terminate anyone. But there's a lot of people terminate themselves by violating the policy. So you had this group of people, business people, that all of a sudden, in the average wage in those days for management was like $60,000 a year, and they had all these people that had to go out and find a way to make 60 grand or they're going to lose their house. And boom. This group looked at real estate and said, you got to be putting me on. This is a piece of cake. So that's why there's such a small percentage of people, because they don't have that discipline that what I call the founding group had. So if we create that, a sobering thought, you realize that the percentage of good doctors are no better. We're no better. There's a lot of bad doctors out there. A lot more bad doctors than are good doctors. A lot more bad realtors than good realtors. There's a lot more bad car salesmen than good car salesmen. So in our business, it's just to be expected. That's why. The hard worker, if a person was today to decide to be an expired monster, they could work a pretty great schedule. Actually, we pay to have the expired sent to us on this company called REAP. REAP captures the phone number. So even if Dina lists a home, she puts her seller's phone number in there for showing information, but she goes, oh, it's going to expire, I'm going to go in and pull it out. Or like I used to do, I'd take their number out and put mine in. So now who got the expire calls? I did. You want to figure out what your competition's saying? You do that. And so if she pulls the number out, it doesn't matter. REAP already captured it. So we're going to get that number. REAP also looks some other places for phone numbers. So, and there are other ways. There's Zaba.com and things like that where you can find numbers that the average person who just looks goes, no phone number, no phone number, no phone number. I believe if it says NCR, it's a do not call registry or whatever, I believe that it's not a violation because they allowed their number to be advertised. See, I can't advertise my number and then say you can't call me. Right? Peter knows the specifics on that. You could ask him. I paid some guy $500 because one of my employees called a do not call. And he was just a scam. It was just an attorney who was scamming. But it was just easier to just write him a check for $500. So basically, if you decide to do this, I'll show you something you can give yourself. Who likes a nice Christmas present? I always do. Yeah. So if you literally became this expired monster by Christmas, the momentum would be there. You realize it takes about 90 days for momentum. And when Mike used to always say it takes 90 days for your momentum to get up, and Mike would say, and I don't know why. I don't know what the magic is about 90 days, but it takes 90 days. Start getting results. But the thing is, as realtors, we do things for 20 days or 10 days. And then we bow out. Then you know what? Usually, something becomes of it. But meanwhile, we've lost the momentum in the last 60 days. And all of a sudden we're talking to her, hey. Now, if I had the time machine, I'd just jump back in. I wouldn't stop 10 days into this program. I would just keep calling every morning. Peter took a group of agents out, maybe some of it were you, into the neighborhoods. That's not an event. Working in the neighborhoods is not an event. The LA Fair is an event. Comes around once a year. Well, that's how often I prospect, Dan. Once a year. So basically, it's something that needs to be done daily. Mike used to say some of these things weekly. And he'd go, not W-E-A-K. W-E-E-K. So if you do this, when I say something's done weekly, let's say that I ask myself this question. I want to make serious income in the expired listing business, and I only want to work, say 5 days a week. Let's say 3, because I'm a realtor. 3 days a week. But I'm willing to work 8 hours. I wouldn't be, they wouldn't keep me at Del Taco, but in the real estate business, I can't be fired. So I would work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Because more people are home, right? In our business, we need to talk to more people, period, right? And I would always work the first day of the month. I would always work the 16th day of the month. Because there are some realtors that are so incredibly professional that they will, all their listings that ever expire will expire on either the 16th or the 1st. That's it. There are some agents that are so professional, you're either going to expire in June or December. That's it. They list for 6 months, and you only have those 2 dates. So, but it's a general thing. Are there always more expired listings on the 1st of the month than any other month? You bet. Is more better? More is better. Okay, so one last thing. Going to the door. When you go to the door, you need to have an expired package of some kind. If you don't have one, I'll show you one. If you don't have the 6 postcards, Mandy's got 6 postcards that are generic, that can be modified, that show 6 reasons your home expired. When somebody's home expires, you're going to start a follow-up program like this. I always used a mail sorter. It said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I would just go boom, 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 boom. And I'd put a month's worth of follow-up stuff in there on day one. Day one. That's called a system, by the way, right? if you envision that sorter, it's kind of like the silverware drawer. It's kind of like that insert that goes to your silverware drawer. You put the big spoons, the little spoons, the big forks, the little forks, and all that, and it keeps them organized. Well, this keeps it organized. And what did I say the key to a system was? It works when you don't. See, if I got this thing set up and I got 2 months worth of mailing in there, could I actually take a couple of days off? And I could say, hey, Mandy, would you do me a favor? On Monday, throw Mondays in the mail. On Tuesday, throw Tuesdays in the mail. And we could do that. So in that follow-up system, if you don't have these things, put a little time into preparing for this. Very little time. Very little time. This is one of those things where planning isn't real important. I've already done the planning for you. I've already done it. Just start doing it right away. Right away. I asked somebody, they get all excited about expires. I see them the next day. Call expires day. Well, you know what, today I had a dentist appointment. Oh, how'd it go? Well, it's not till later. Okay. What time were you planning on calling expires? Well, and you know what, I had to get the kids out of school today. Are they going to school before the sun comes up or what? What school do they go to? There's always an excuse. So I'm going to leave it there. I was trying to go further, but expires are just such a great subject.
Question, if you don't have somebody's phone number, the house has expired, would you still pursue them, send them something, or is it just too expensive to do?
No, if they're within a 10-mile radius, I'm going to their door. If they're outside the 10-mile radius, I'm not. Unless it's something special. If there is something special about it, that might make me do that. But if they're inside a 10-mile radius, I don't care whether they got a phone number or not, I'm going to the door. I'm dropping my expired pack at their door. And I'll show you when you try and explain to somebody why their house expired. I'll be more than glad to sit down with you privately, one-on-one, whatever, and give you the answers. We don't want to be dishonest, but we don't want to blow them away. Why do you think my home expired? Because you were overpriced. What do you think? What are the chances they're going to let me in?
Never.
Right? So I'd be glad to sit down. There's like 6 reasons the house expires. And, we do say overpricing, but you know what overpricing is? Market timing. It's just market timing. Your house will be worth $2 million. Best I can figure now, about 25 cycles from now. Right? Take a look at what properties in Pasadena are worth. And I remember when properties in Pasadena were 1/3 the price they are today. If you look back to 2009, and you look at the average house in San Bernardino, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and you see that its value in those days, after rehab, was $100,000. Those houses are worth $300,000 today. So I do want to tell them it's price, but I don't want to say price because they think I'm taking their wallet, right? It's just market timing. The best I can figure, Dina, that house will be worth that in probably, I'm going to guess probably June of next year. So would you like to sign a 9-month contract? And I'm smiling because I'm laughing. She's laughing. We're getting along. And I'm going to probably get the listing. So anyway, if you want to sit down and actually do this, then here's your plan. You got to get your 6 postcard follow-up done. You got to have that under control. How many of you know how to use Publisher or some basic desktop publishing type stuff? Okay, yeah, that kind of stuff. We used to use some very basic stuff, but yeah, as long as you know how to do that, we have all those files that we created. We have them all on Publisher. We can give you a copy of them. You can just put them in, put my information, my face, boom, boom, boom. It's done. They're ready to go. All right. Any questions?
Well, sometimes when we're looking for a way to show that you can sell the home and reasons why the other agent didn't do it correctly, without bad-mouthing the other agent, I just say, well, maybe the information he used was incorrect. So that's why the numbers were wrong.
You know what I always said? I go, you know what? I belong to a very elite group of realtors. I know every single realtor on a first-name basis that sells any kind of volume whatsoever. What was the name of your realtor again? I don't know. So, and I said, but there's nothing wrong with them. Every once in a while, you get an extremely inexperienced realtor that gets lucky and sells a house. You just didn't happen to get lucky. Yeah? You want to go for luck next time? Experience. You work for a company by the name of Century 21. Experience. Joe's been in the business a while. I've been in the business a while. There, in most cases, your real estate company is there to take your split, give you a desk and a phone, and basically, if the company feels that a mistake you made gets them in jeopardy, then all of a sudden they're interested, right? But they're typically not there to be your business partner. They're there to be your desk rental service. This company's different. So when you go out, you have that experience. So you can talk about experience. You can talk about my team. You know, I've told Teresa, I've told several agents, I said, when you're out there, talk about my team. Say, my team, because I'm on your team. You can say, there's members of my team that sold over 160 homes a year. I mean, where are you going to get that experience? There's no substitute for experience. You only get experience by actually doing something, right? And if the average realtor sells 2.3 houses a year, I don't care how glossy their postcard is, they aren't good at it. Transactions today are complicated. I'll tell you one thing. So I used to say, who are you going to be interviewing? And Jesse'd go, well, we're going to be interviewing you, we're going to be interviewing Pete, we're going to be interviewing this person, Bill over there. I go, okay, great. So I go out there and I would print out all of the other 2 agents' production for the year. And then I would print out mine. I print out theirs, and I print out mine. And I would go, and he told me you were going to interview these 2 people, and from what I hear, I think they're probably great people. In fact, here's the production record of this one. Here's the production record of this one. And here's mine. And the only reason I point this out, I said, I want you to envision something. Imagine you were a concert pianist, and you needed surgery on your hand. And if it's botched, you'll never play again. You got these 2 surgeons here that do on average 2 of these surgeries a year. And then you got this surgeon here that does over 100 of these a year. I would suggest you check the survival rate. And then, my God, excuse me, you'll never play again. So, all right, guys. And when you can have that much fun with expireds, you do really well. Clear.